This is an issue that has got to be addressed. As my friend said, though, if we defeat the previous question, we will offer my bill, H.R. 4261. When the majority Democrats proposed public financing of campaigns in H.R. 1 at the start of this Congress, I thought it was one of the worst ideas in campaign finance ever. Public financing of campaigns will fill the swamp, and any member who voted for it was voting to fill their own pockets and the pockets of political operatives nationwide. At first, Democrats tried to use the tax dollars of hardworking Americans to fund their public financing sections in H.R. 1. Remember, H.R. 1 was a 622-page behemoth of a bill that was supposed to get money out of politics, that initially had provisions to put public taxpayer dollars into members of Congress's own campaign coffers. Imagine if more people watched C-SPAN, they would have been able to see so many members of Congress vote to line their own pockets with public tax dollars for their own personal political campaigns. That is not what my constituents asked us to do when cleaning up Washington. That is not what we should be doing. We need to work together now to make sure that it doesn't ever happen again. This matching program would have created a 6-to-1 match of public financing. Well, once the public caught some sense of this was happening, the majority decided to change the way they do this. What they did instead was they were going to use corporate fines. Well, that criticism forced them to change it, but not also be able to get funding at the levels that are needed for every member of Congress to be able to run this new public financing campaign and publicly financed campaign. They would have had to subsidize the corporate fines with tax dollars, or when the federal government finds a corporation that's broken federal law, it does so with specific intentions. Now remember, for every dollar that a donor gives to a campaign under the Democrats' plan, you would have gotten 6 times in first tax dollars and then so-called corporate fine dollars. Can you imagine a scenario where a pharmaceutical company is fined for corporate malfeasance associated with the opioid epidemic, and the resulting funds go not to those actually affected by this horrible epidemic, but instead they go to line the pockets and campaign coffers of members of Congress, politicians? Not to mention, this form of public financing would bring into question judges' partiality. If they knew a corporation's fine could end up helping their preferred political party, help them win elected office, what's to stop them from determining who specifically then receives the money? Using taxpayer dollars or money from corporate fines to publicly support a candidate and start yet another mandatory program is irresponsible. There are better uses that would be more beneficial to our constituents than putting it back into Congress's own campaign coffers. Call it what you want to call it, but we are now subsidizing private money with funds from corporate fines through campaign subsidies, and this is simply a money grab for politicians. Imagine if every member of Congress, not counting all candidates in each congressional race, just the 435 of us who serve here, receives just $1 million in matched funds from the federal government. That's close to $500 million going to just the incumbent politicians' campaigns. And in districts like mine, where the investment every campaign season is substantially higher, it would be even more. Welcome to campaign finance socialism. If the goal is to get money and corruption out of politics, public financing of campaigns is the wrong way to do that. Thank you again to my